And this week's Employee of the Week is Corporal Iris Goddard, and she works at Animal Welfare. Let me tell you a little bit about what's happened in animal welfare over the last 7 years. We've dropped the euthanasia rate by 78% at the Animal Welfare Department. We've reduced the intake volume by 34% over the last 7 years. And right now, at least last year, and we're close to it now, is we've actually got a very, a manageable population at our shelters. I think the all-time low was last year, and we're approaching that. And that doesn't, and that doesn't happen by accident. It happens with dedicated employees. It happens by thinking outside the box and being innovators. And it happens because we live in a caring and giving community. People will adopt the animals. And that brings me to Precious, who's with us today. Precious is still looking for a forever home, and so we want people to let's make it our business in Albuquerque to get Precious adopted. She's just a beautiful dog, and she's been here a couple of times, and she's having a little trouble finding a forever home. So let's get her somebody this weekend. If you find it in your heart, go. Is she East Side?
She's at Lucky Paws, actually.
She's at Lucky Paws, and we're going to do some Lucky Paws celebrations here soon too. So get by Lucky Paws and let's get Precious a forever home. But let me turn my attention back to our Employee of the Week, Iris. She's our Employee of the Week because she took her time and her passion, and she put it into educating professionals and kids regarding the proper care and treatment for animals in the Albuquerque community. We're recognizing her for how she's now changed positions. She's not a corporal anymore, correct?
Correct.
And she's now the kennel supervisor, which is an incredibly important job at animal welfare. During her time as a corporal, however, Iris has provided animal care education to an estimated 120 kids from elementary schools and high schools in the city of Albuquerque. Over the years, she has lectured in several elementary schools and also Camp Humane, which is a summer camp hosted by the Animal Humane Society. She also volunteered her time to educate adults on how to better care for animals by spending time talking with the City Parks and Recreation Department and also the New Mexico State Probation Officers Association. One of the things that we found over the years is that animals just do, pets do a lot of good for a lot of reasons. We have children who have disabilities now who read to the dogs at Lucky Paws. We have people who are incarcerated working with animals now. It helps the animal, it helps the folks that are incarcerated, just lots of good things. And Iris has been on the forefront of that. In her continued efforts in public education, she has worked to improve the department's pet school class curriculum. There actually is a curriculum for that. Pet school is a court-ordered class for citizens who have violated the city's humane and ethical animal rules and treatment ordinance. She did all of this by educating and training, all of this additional work to educate and train our community in addition to her day-to-day duties. So throughout her career as a corporal, she has an impressive record of completing 593 calls for service and 20 calls for neglect. She was the lead officer in a cockfighting investigation, and it's interesting. I was in the state legislature when we outlawed cockfighting in New Mexico. I think it was 2007 or 2008. And all of a sudden now we've had two stories about cockfighting in Albuquerque. We had the poultry whisperer.
We did.
Recently, and now Iris is working as well. So she basically busted an Albuquerque resident also in a dog fighting ring, which is just unbelievable that people would think that that's a good idea. But it's in part due to her the improvement of the pet school class curriculum, her community leadership, that has made Iris Goddard our Employee of the Week. I'm going to have Paul Castor say a couple of words about it, but I just want to say thanks for the diversity of things that you've done. You're out there as an officer, you're out there basically fighting crime from that standpoint, but also to take your time just to talk to children, to talk to adults in the community, to help people who've had violations, who have mistreated animals, and trying to get them on the right path. That's a big deal. And when we talk about all these great numbers that I mentioned earlier in this conversation, it's because of great employees at this department, great people that have a passion for this, and great leadership too. So I appreciate you. So Paul, why don't you say a few words? I'll hold Precious while you're doing it. She's just chilling.
She's just taking a little nap.
She's just chilling.
This is just a great opportunity for us. Iris has done great things for us. I've always been taught that you don't promote people because of what they have done, but what they can do, and that's why we promoted her to kennel supervisor. We believe she can give us a great deal more. But what you did as a corporal was you educated people. And that's incredibly important because by education we can break that chain of abuse. We can break the chain that takes from animal abuse to human abuse. So you've done great things, and we surely appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Very
much.
So
passionate
much.
about it.
Thank you so much. So Iris, we have our infamous coffee mug that we give out, and we also have a certificate for you. And it says, on behalf of the entire city of Albuquerque, I, Richard Berry, Mayor of the city of Albuquerque, thank you for your public service and your dedication. Your actions exceeded the call of duty and went beyond normal expectations. For the entire week of February 27th, 2017, you are entitled to all privileges set forth by the office of the mayor as employee of the week. It better be good. Better be some good privileges. And we just really appreciate you, your heart and your dedication and your passion for making Albuquerque a great place for animals. So thank you, and,
Thank
and we
you.
appreciate you very much. So I get a chance to brag on my community a lot, and I particularly enjoy bragging about the youth in our community. And Dylan Duran is another reason that we can do that, and he's also another reason that we can look towards a bright future in our community, because we've got a group of leaders coming up in a generation of leadership in our community that I think is exceptional. I talk to kids in even as young as kindergartners, and I'll ask them, Dylan, I'll say, "Are you too young to be a leader?" And they'll look at they'll think, "I don't know, am I too young to be a leader?" And the answer is no. You're never too young to be a leader. So when we have someone like Dylan, who's 15 now,
Yes, sir.
step up in a leadership role with kindness and compassion, it makes a big difference. And when he has a support system at home and a mom that makes a difference, boy, that's a knockout combination for good things to happen. So you've heard Dylan's story. So Dylan's pretty famous. Dylan's been on CBS, U.S. News, U.S. Magazine, Inside Edition, Huffington Post, London Radio. You ought to be my PR guy, maybe. K-Love Radio. He's been on radio in New Zealand. That's a long ways away. HLN and others. And the reason he's famous is because he did something extraordinary. I'm going to paraphrase the story here just a little bit, and I'll have Josette, his mom Josette is here with him today. And if I miss any of the basic details, make sure I get it right. So basically, Dylan's at school, and he sees a classmate that's struggling, who doesn't have food, who doesn't have lunch. And he doesn't tell his mom all the details. He simply says, "Hey, could you make me an extra lunch?" So Josette, being a good mom, says sure. So after a couple weeks
Yes, sir.
of this, Josette starts wondering, gosh, am I not sending Dylan with enough lunch every day? And she basically, asked about what's going on, right?
Right.
And as it turns out, Dylan had recognized this young man, I don't know if it's even a young man or a young woman, but one of his classmates, as being in need and wanted to be a good Samaritan and wanted to help out. Reached out to his mom, and then once she gave the details, Josette jumped into action. And I know there's some work that happened with the volleyball team at the school, because you coach volleyball, yes?
Correct.
So you're also a coach, which is another great thing you can do in your community. And once it was originally covered by our local news back in October of 2016, the volleyball team tried to pay Josette back for her tremendous acts of kindness by using $200 that they had raised for their fundraising. Josette matched their funds and paid off all the past lunch dues for this young person at the school. And it just turns out that this student had a family situation where life just got in the way. They had some hard times, and they just couldn't pay the lunch bill. And as many systems are in place in government, as many opportunities as we have to make sure that our students are well nourished and to make sure that people get a hand up when they need it, sometimes what it really takes is an extraordinary young man and his extraordinary mom to step up and make a difference. So one of the things that I'm going to do, so I'm going to ask you for something else. So there's no free lunch, right? So you're going to get the Samaritan Award, but I also want you to take a leadership role with our kindness campaign. So here's what we've done. So we started, and there's several mayors in the country that are working on this right now. I think we've got a great effort going here. We came up with an Albuquerque kindness app. So we are going to try to track 1 million acts of kindness in the city of Albuquerque.
Oh, nice.
And we are giving our youth in the community the leadership role in this. So, has your mom ever asked you if you got your homework done?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what I want you to do is say, yeah, I got my homework done, and then I want you to ask her if she did something kind today. Because I want the youth in our community to teach the adults about being kind, and that's what you're doing today. So today, this is how easy it is. I'm going to share an act of kindness because you're a kind person. I'm going to say that right there. See the balloons going up? So you're now one of the acts of 1,000,000 acts of kindness in our community. But I'd like you to take your leadership role and talk to people about downloading this free app. Talk to schools, talk to students. Use yourself as a leader and an example to try to get the students in our city to do what you did and be kinder. And then I want you to coach up the adults in our community about what that looks like as well. If you do that for me, I would really appreciate it. And so, for all these reasons, we're going to give you today's award. And let me read it for you here.
This one's Dylan's.
Sure. So Dylan, what this says, I mean to turn my back on you, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's the Samaritan Award. This certificate is awarded to Dylan Duran. On behalf of the entire city of Albuquerque, I, Richard J. Berry, mayor of the city, thank you for your dedication to the citizens of our community. You have been granted this award because you have displayed an extraordinary level of care and compassion, caring for your fellow neighbor. So we have that for you, Dylan.
Thank you.
And then we've got a coffee mug, so you can
Awesome.
keep sufficiently caffeinated.
That's
And we have the same certificate for you, Josette.
Awesome.
And then we also have some tickets, combo passes to the biopark for you. So we'd like you to come down to the biopark, bring a couple of friends. If you need a couple extra tickets, give us a call. Bring some of your friends and use your voice in the community to continue doing what you've done here. And it's just an extraordinary thing. And you want to say anything? Either one of you like to say anything? We'd like to hear you say something.
Okay.
Yeah, come on over here. Come on over here.
Alright. I thank you for the awards and stuff, but I did the stuff that I did because I wanted to help my friend. Not for any awards or anything like that. But yeah. Thank you.
You bet. You bet. Josette, you want to say anything? You got a good guy here. She's crying. That's awesome. So listen, and that's exactly why you do things, right? You do them.
Yes, sir.
You do them because they're the right thing to do. And then every once in a while, somebody recognizes it. So don't shy away from that too, because we need your leadership in our community.
Yes,
So
sir.
people now can look up to you, and when they're looking for inspiration to do good things, the fact that you did this not looking for any credit is really why what makes you the hero. And so
sir.
God
Thank
bless
you.
you for doing that, and thanks for being here today, and we appreciate you.
That's it.
Thank you.